Hello and welcome back to another video. So a few months ago I made a video looking at the regional differences in Gran Turismo 3, and now we're going to be doing the same but with Gran Turismo 4. Now if you haven't watched the Gran Turismo 3 video, I would recommend watching it first, as all the information to how I'll be going about this video is discussed there, so I don't have to repeat myself here, and instead I can say, let's get started! So, starting right from the beginning, the Japanese and American versions will immediately begin the startup sequence when first starting a save. But like Gran Turismo 3, the European version will ask the player which language they wish to select. This will only affect the actual language of the game, as unlike Gran Turismo 3, Gran Turismo 4 includes both Vauxhall and Opel for all regions. The opening movie for the most part are mostly the same, but with a few different camera shots throughout. And like Gran Turismo 3, they all have different music playing after the starting operatic build-up. Moon Over the Castle for the Japanese, Panama by Van Halen for the American, and Reason is Treason, the Jackknife Lee remix for the European. And so long as I don't get a strike for using Reason is Treason, I will upload a video comparing all three like I did with Gran Turismo 3. For some more language stuff, a lot of the text is different between the PAL English and American English, such as the names of the used car dealerships. There's honestly way too much to go into detail. And even the Japanese English is different too. I'll put a few examples on screen now. I'm going to assume the reason why this is the case is just simply different localization teams. An American team will do it for the American versions and a European team will do it for the Europeans. For some visual changes, depending on the version you play will also determine the order of the countries in arcade mode. If you are playing the Japanese version, the Japanese brands in arcade mode are at the top. If you are playing the American version, then the American brands are at the top. And if you are playing the PAL version, regardless of which language, the British brands will be at the top, followed by the French, German, Italian, Spanish, then Japanese and American, and then the rest of the worldwide brands. Interestingly, outside of Europe, the order of the European brands is different. In Europe it follows the language order on the disc, but in both the Japanese and American version, France is the third country from the top. And the Netherlands comes before Spain. But in all versions, Belgium, Australia, Sweden and Korea mark the bottom four. GT mode also has some changes. The layout for the American and PAL version is the same, but for Japan, almost everything is scattered around the map in different places. The Swedish flag on the car chest piece is also lighter in the Japanese version of Gran Turismo mode for some reason. Sticking with Gran Turismo mode, when you unlock a new track to use in arcade mode, in the Japanese version you will receive a text notification telling you that you have unlocked a new track, but outside of Japan you get an image notification instead, which looks a lot more visually appealing. For music now, unlike Gran Turismo 3, the American version has the least amount of songs in the jukebox. The PAL version comes in second and the Japanese version has the most. I'll quickly scroll down them on screen now, and you can pause the video if you want to see all the songs because the music list is a lot longer than it was in Gran Turismo 3. For some miscellaneous things now, car prices are different with the Japanese version, as their prices reflect the value of the yen. The Japanese version also has car descriptions that scroll across the bottom of the screen while purchasing a car. For us, it's just blank. In the Japanese version, you can't go from one license test to the next. You have to exit the current test and go back to the selection screen to pick your next test. Very grateful for this quality of life change that was added internationally. In the race start menus for the Japanese version, the car's paint swatch is not shown on screen like it is worldwide. The demo replays saved in the replay theater are different too depending on region. Did anyone else just sit and watch these in awe of all the Le Mans race cars? Because I certainly did. And also, some cars in the license test use a different color scheme depending on which region you are playing in. Now, let's move on to some region exclusives. The Japanese version has one very interesting feature that no other version has: race commentary. In replay mode, you can select to have a variety of replay camera styles, but one of which only in the Japanese version gives commentary over the race.
全日本 GT 選手権の2003年シーズンに向けて、ホンダ陣営は NSX に2000年以来となる大改良を加えた。2003年の新しい車両規定が、エンジンの取り付け方位、方向、位置は基本車両のエンジンルーム内にあれば自由と改定されたのを受け、これまで市販モデルと同じ横置きに搭載していたエンジンを縦置きにしたのだ。しかも開発陣はただ単にエンジンを縦置きするだけではなく、前後を逆転させてトランスミッションをエンジンの前方に取り付けた。トランスミッションを経た動力は、シリンダーブロック脇を前後に通過するプロペラシャフトを介して、
I have no idea what's been said as it's in Japanese and I don't speak Japanese. Nor do I know how it works, as in I don't know if it is a variety of pre-recorded phrases or some kind of AI tool. Which, I don't support the use of generative AI in games, and I'm glad Gran Turismo 7 doesn't have a feature like that. But I don't think technology had advanced that far back in 2004. Speaking of 2004, the Japanese version of Gran Turismo 4 came out in 2004, and the rest of the world in 2005. If you watch my Evolution of series, you'll see that whenever Gran Turismo 4 pops up, I always mark it as 2004 regardless of which game I use. However, there are some exceptions, as now it is time to look at how the cars varied between regions. First off, we actually have a missing brand from the Japanese version, Chaparral. Yes, in the time between the releases of Gran Turismo 4, Polyphony were able to include another brand to versions outside of Japan, the American brand Chaparral. This of course means that Japanese players missed out on the 2D and 2J race cars. Japanese players also missed out on the Lexus brand too, although I wasn't exactly jumping for joy at the inclusion of Lexus because it meant we didn't get the Toyota Altezza, the first car I ever drove in a Gran Turismo game, which also means we have to use the Lexus IS for the Altezza one-make race. The Japanese version also doesn't have the HPA Motorsport Stage 2 R32. The Japanese version is actually missing a few cars, isn't it? Although to make Japanese players feel better, the American version is missing the Toyota Esso Ultraflow Supra JGTC. In the American version, cars with the Esso brand were changed to EXO. The Toyota GT1 and Peugeot 205 Rally car are examples of cars that had their brands changed. But they didn't change the Esso JGTC, despite other racing games making the change. The Esso brand was removed worldwide after Gran Turismo 4 up until Gran Turismo 7, and the Esso JGTC never reappeared. So obviously was a licensing issue there. I can't think of any cars that were removed from the PAL version of Gran Turismo 4, so if you can think of any, let me know. To make American players feel better, they got the Scion brand, and we didn't. We instead got the two Scion cars listed under Toyota instead. Also, when I was looking through the brands, I saw that the Acura brand was listed as an American brand in the Japanese version, but worldwide, Acura is listed as Japanese. But it went back to being listed as an American brand in later games. Some of the Japanese license tests sometimes have different cars to use for the same tests. There's two that come to mind, and they are both in the S license tests. That being the Opera Paris one-lap time trial, which has you use a Pescarolo in the Japanese version, and then a lap of the Nürburgring used in the Sauber Mercedes. I've not attempted them yet, and I'm glad that I never had to as a kid. Now for the final point, let's end on something good. I was unaware of this until only a few years ago, but there is another Diablo GT1 case for Gran Turismo 4, as in the Korean version there exists a car that only appeared in Gran Turismo 4 in the Korean version, the Lexus IS 200 GT1. This is a car I have saw barely anyone ever talk about, but in the Korean version it was added to Gran Turismo 4, but not in any other version. It was added to the Gran Turismo series worldwide, starting with Gran Turismo PSP, which used the same assets as Gran Turismo 4. So this was the first time I ever encountered the IS-200, and despite it being a Lexus IS, I was excited as a kid playing Gran Turismo PSP to get to use a new car I'd never seen before. It did return worldwide for Gran Turismo 5 and Gran Turismo 6, not yet for Gran Turismo 7, but it also has a weird flag inconsistency. We're kind of leaving Gran Turismo 4 here, but in Gran Turismo 4 and in Gran Turismo 5 it is marked as Korean, and in Gran Turismo PSP and Gran Turismo 6 it is marked as Japanese. I believe it raced for a Korean team, and as it was only in the Korean version, I guess in some cases it does make sense it would have a Korean flag. So therefore, in its appearance orders, it goes from being Korean to Japanese, to then back to Korean, to then back to Japanese. And in general, with so little information on it, the Lexus IS-200 GT1's inclusion is even more strange than the Diablos in Gran Turismo 3, which possibly makes it the most obscure real-world race car in the Gran Turismo series. And so, there you have it, a collection of regional differences between the NTSC-J, NTSC-U, PAL, and also Korean versions of Gran Turismo 4. I'm sure there's plenty I've missed, but these are the ones I feel that are a little bit different and fun. If you know of any I missed, let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time!